Welcome, America, to Amendment1Radio.com, where your First Amendment rights are still safe to say what's on your mind. Welcome to another show, Amendment1Radio.com, with your show host, me, Voice of America. Let's sit there and see what kind of wonderful stories we can touch on today and see who we can upset today and have some fun with. So, let's see here. Get some of this stuff out of here. Wait. Trying to get through here. There we go. Got it now. Okay. Well, I tell you what, we got some interesting conversations here today that I think will be rather interesting. But we recently had this incident with the school shootings in, I believe it was Connecticut. And so far, the backlash has come out that, everything about guns and that gun control is a major issue and that these are all the problems that we're having and stuff and that guns kill people. So, this is probably a lunatic way of doing this. And I know everybody is probably, whoever is listening is probably going to think I'm totally nuts. But let me show you something here, folks. And I'll tell you what, if this works, then, hey, everybody can say I lost. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Can we do a video here? Can you see this? Okay. This is a real 44 Magnum. It is loaded with hollow points. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you people this once and for all. Watch this. I'm going to lay this on this table. I'm going to point it at myself. Okay? And guess what? An hour from now, if I can still get up and I'm still alive, then I think your guys' theory out there that keeps saying guns kill people will be 100% wrong. What do you think? Anybody out there want to voice their opinion on this and sit there and call me an idiot or a lunatic or something? Or would you like to sit there and actually know the truth that, it's not guns that kill people. It is people that kill people. They use the guns as a weapon, okay? They use it in a way that they shouldn't use it. Now, is it all the problems that people should go in there and say, okay, well, hey, look, these guns kill people. We shouldn't have them to where they shouldn't have access. Well, guess what? This is what it all boils down to once and for all. And, and this really pisses me off because something, people, we've got our Second Amendment right, which sits there and tells us that we have the right to bear arms. Now, granted, if you're going to go out there and buy an assault rifle or a 50 caliber or something like that, well, let me ask you this. Car collectors, they collect cars. Do they go out and drive them all day long? No, they don't. They get them because basically we're all egocentric in a way, in our own very ways. Okay. Some people like cars. Some people like coins. Some people like pictures. Some people like, motorcycles. All these kind of things are collectors. All right. Now, so we go back to the point here of saying, guns, we need to have them regulated. No, something, because, I'm going to make my point here very soon that, the biggest thing here is if you're going to have guns, then let's go back to two very wonderful words that really speak volumes: accountability and responsibility. Pretty simple words, easy to say, but something, people, here's the thing. If your parents have guns and they have little kids, now, what should we do with these guns? Leave them out? Well, no, you shouldn't. You should actually have them in a place that is totally secured, away from your children, to where you do not have any problems at all. It should be set up in a way to where if anything should happen, let's say somebody breaks in your house, that you should be able to have an escape plan or a plan of action already taken place. And that way you're always prepared. Not everybody does it. Me, I don't do it because I don't have kids, living with me or anything like that. So, and that's the whole thing. So guess what? For those of you that do have guns and those of you that do have small children in the same house, come on, people. A little bit of responsibility goes a long damn way. And it's absolutely mind blowing here to sit there and see and hear all day long. Oh, gun control. We need better gun control. Well, guess what? You know something? The government loves this, okay? Because that gun control that you're getting ready to do, that ban on assault weapons, let me tell you something. It starts with extended clip weapons, okay? Clip weapons. Now, that's clip weapons. You know what a clip weapon all consists of? Anything from a 9mm all the way to an AR-15. So, and guess what? You put a ban on assault weapons that are actually more than, that you can sit there and rapid fire, then guess what? You just lost your guns, people. Okay. Now, yeah, you've got these lunatics that go out here and they get guns and they kill little kids. Well, you know something? This is a time that our judicial system should actually work. I live in Tampa, Florida. Okay. I can sit there and tell you various cases out here. One particular incident was a young black man that went out there and killed police officer. You know, this guy had over like 20 different times he was arrested with assault weapons, with all kinds of weaponry. And you know something? It makes me sick because of the simple fact we had Hmm. Let's see. Naturally, this kid couldn't go in there and afford an attorney. So what do? We give him a regular attorney that was appointed to him. It's his constitutional right. But then you've got situations where you've got, let's say state's attorneys that go in there and do these backdoor deals that want to sit there and constantly say, well, you know, it really wasn't that bad. You know, we got to do this, we got to do that. You know, this person, you know, he's not that bad of society. He's a young kid, or his mother and father are prominent, or this and that. You know, it's ridiculous. And then we get judges. Hey, for all you judges out there that are listening, why don't you get off your sorry asses and start enforcing the law the way it should be? No more of this, oh, hey, this person's too pretty to go to prison. Or, well, you know, he didn't actually kill so many people. Well, you know, the judicial system only allows me to do certain things. Well, you know something? Read up on your judicial system. See what you're allowed to do. And you know something? We have a sheriff in Lakeland, Florida. His name's Grady Judd. You know, and I'm gonna tell you what, hats off to that man because, you know, basically he don't take no shit. Because here's the thing. You go out there and you point a gun at his officers, there is no second guess. You are going to die. Period. Because the man has got cojones the size of watermelons that sits there and basically says, you go in there and you break the law and you try and hurt somebody with deadly force, you are going to be met with deadly force. It's not going to be, well, we're going to slap some handcuffs on you, slap you on the wrist and tell you, you know, don't pick up that gun again. And you know something? Guess what? Hey, he's saving taxpayers a lot of money. Even one of the incidences where they went in there and they had a man that pulled a gun on a bunch of the sheriffs down there. You know, they shot him. It was like 52 times they killed him. And guess what? They sit there and they asked him, why did you shoot him so many times? Well, because our sheriffs ran out of bullets. So, hey, hats off to Grady Judd. And, you know, hey, man, keep up the good work. And, you know, I wish the sheriffs and the police departments would quit pussyfooting around because this pussification of America that we keep dealing with on a day-to-day basis is absolutely ridiculous. And to sit there and constantly, you've got Joe Biden, Harry Reid, and some other buffoon up there that's going to sit there and take care of our school systems, security-wise, going to take care of the gun control system. And then you even got Obama that's going to sit there and say, well, you know, America's having problems the past couple months, and, you know, everybody has to be given to, you know, they have to be willing to do a give and take. And, you know, America is going to have to compromise. Compromise? I'm not compromising shit because here's the thing. You know something? Our national deficit. Who did it? I didn't do it. Every one of you people that are out here listening or watching, I know you didn't do it. So who did it? Could it be these wonderful people that we keep electing? I'm sitting here listening to various talk radio shows, and it really blows my mind. I sit there and hear stuff like, well, this 10-term congressman and this 12-term senator, they're able to do this and they're able to do that. And, they're really putting a crunch on gun control, or they're really making it better for our taxes. They haven't done nothing. If they can't do it, get them out. Let's get our term limits back. Let's go in there. If, Americans, seriously, if you want to fix the whole entire problem, okay, hey, you know something? I should be president because I can make it real simple. And I guarantee you, within 12 months, I could sit here and turn this country around and get it back on track. We'd pull out of this recession, and I bet you the world would follow. And it's pretty plain and simple. I mean, it's very plain and simple, but it's too much government that wants to sit there and say, well, you know something? We want to keep spending. We've got open wallets here. We can keep digging in these pockets and these wallets and keep taking money out and do what we want to do. You know something? And it's just, I don't see it. I don't see the economy bouncing back. I don't see, anything that's helping. I don't see no deficit going down. I don't see unemployment going down. And even with Obamacare, guess what, folks? Next week, Obamacare takes in effect. 2014, it'll be in full-blown effect. Hey, I want everybody to tell me about, let's say, March, April of 2014, how you feeling with that tax debt that you just had to pay? So, because everybody had to sit there and say, oh, we need health care. We need this. We need that. How many of you have sit there and talked to your doctors out there and said, hey, this health care issue is going to be pretty big. How does that affect you, doc? Because even the docs that I talked to sit there and said, hey, we want to hurry up. We're going to get our stuff and we're going to retire out, probably move out of the country because this is ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. So, yep. Oh, I tell you what, it looks like that gum may be wiggling. Oh, no, just my imagination. Darn, there for a second, I thought it was going to jump up and shoot me. So, well, sorry, folks, it still ain't happened. So, we're into this 15 minutes now. So, let's see what happens. But anyways, the whole tangent that I'm ranting about is a simple fact that everybody wants to sit there and say gun control, gun control, gun control. Well, I tell you what, folks, let's sit here and read some articles here that I sit there and picked up over the week to really see just where we're going to be at here. And, and here we go. Let's see. On October 1st, 1997, Luke Woodham, 16, part of a satanic cult, stabbed and bludgeoned his mother before driving her car to Pearl High School in Pearl, Mississippi, where he shot dead 2 students, wounded 7 others with a rifle he made no attempt to conceal. Then he got back into his mother's car and planned to go to Pearl Junior High School and kill some more. But assistant principal Joe Merrick retrieved a .45 caliber pistol from the glove compartment of his truck and subdued Woodham. Isn't that interesting? The man had a concealed weapon that he had in a compartment of his truck, and thanks to him, he was able to stop what would have been even worse. So now we got, on January 16th, 2002, Peter Odegazawa, 43, of Nigeria, went to the Appalachian School of Law campus in Virginia with a handgun and killed 3 and wounded 3 others. At the sound of gunfire, 2 other students, both police officers, retrieved guns from their cars. Meanwhile, another police officer and former Marine jumped Odegazawa and disarmed him by the time the other officers got to the scene. Smart thinking. So now we've got, on August 23rd, 1995, a band of crack cocaine addicts entered a store in Muskegon, Michigan, with a plan to kill everyone and steal enough cash and jewelry to feed their habit. One member of the gang shot store owner Claire Cooper in the back 4 times. Now, let me tell you, this man still managed to grab his shotgun and fire on the gang as they fled. They were all apprehended. On December 9th, 2007, a 24-year-old gunman named Matthew Murray launched an attack on the congregants of the New Life Church in Colorado Springs and left 2 victims dead. A former police officer, Jeannie Awesome, a member of the security team for the church, shot Murray 10 times, killing him as he was shooting at her. Murray had killed 4 others at a church 70 miles away earlier in the day. 4 others. And let me tell you something. I know everybody's going to sit there and tell me, well, if he didn't have access to the gun, it wouldn't have happened. But I'm going to get to that. Hang in there. On July 24th, 2012, Richard Gable Stevens rented a rifle at a shooting range in Santa Clara, California, and herded 3 employees out the door saying he intended to kill them. One of the employees, however, was carrying a .45 caliber handgun and shot him. Hey, let me tell you something. Hats off to that person. You know something? Definitely. But now let's go on further down. On December 17th, 1991, 2 men armed with stolen pistols. Remember, here's a key word: stolen pistols. Herded 20 customers and employees of a Shoney's restaurant in Anniston, Alabama, into a walk-in refrigerator and locked it so they could rob the establishment. However, one customer was armed with a .45 caliber handgun hidden under a table. He shot one of the gunmen dead. The other robber, who was holding the manager of the restaurant at gunpoint, began firing at the customer, but he was wounded critically by return fire, ending the incident. There you go. On July 13th, 2009, an armed man entered the Golden Food Market in South Richmond, shooting and wounding a clerk while firing at store patrons. He was shot by another customer who had a concealed carry permit, likely saving the lives of 8 other people in the store. Those permits come in handy, people, because here's the thing. You don't know who's carrying a gun anymore. On July 29th, 2012, Charles Connor shot and killed 2 people and their dogs at the Peachtree RV Park in Early, Texas. Vic Stacy got a call from one of the neighbors, got his .357, and shot Connor in the leg. Police arrived before any further killings could take place. So, and guess what? And there's the thing. It really blows my mind that we still have to sit there and say, guns are what are killing people. It's not the responsibility and the accountability of the people that have the guns. It's the guns. So guess what, America? Hey, you know something? When you get your guns taken away, that old joke about, if they outlaw guns, that only outlaws will have guns? Well, how do you think this stuff happens? Do you think somebody just goes in there and one day picks up, goes home and says, well, I've got these guns at home. I'm going to sit back and I've got nothing better to do. Let me go kill a bunch of people. No. It's people have no accountability anymore. They don't have the responsibility. I mean, look at the kid that, here's a guy that was, supposedly the media says that he's had a mental disorder and a couple other things, and until the actual case is heard and all the information is actually publicized, nobody can sit there and say, okay, well, this kid was mental or he wasn't mental, or did he do this or did he do that? How was his childhood? There's so many things that we do not know. And the worst part about it is there's so many things that the media is going to twist and play in a whole different manner. And, and everybody's going to want to sit there and say, crucify the gun makers because they're the makers of all evil. They're the ones that cause everybody to be out here and get killed. So, hey, people, look at this. Check out Australia. They outlawed their guns. within 1 year afterwards, their crime rate went up 25%. 25%. Now, if they ain't got no guns, how does their crime rate go up 25%? Hmm. I guess they were still able to get guns. Stolen guns, hidden guns, uh, anything and everything. But just think of that 25% of people that were murdered because they were not able to protect themselves or protect their family. So, yeah, so all you people out there that want to sit there and say, well, it's the guns, there should be control. No, you know something? It should be the responsibility of the person that has the damn gun that is the one that should be held accountable. If that kid wouldn't have went out and shot his mother and father until all the information comes in, I would sit there and say, well, you know something? It's a horrible thing what he did. There's no getting around that. And, the gun didn't kill him. It's because the man behind the gun used it as an instrument to complete what he had planned on doing. Unfortunately, he killed those kids. And there's nothing else to say about on that. But now the issue is this. How did he get those guns? They were supposedly, a couple sources in media are saying that they were his mother's guns. So, what? You don't have them locked up? I don't care if you're in a house that your kids are 25, they're 40 years old, they're 50 years old. You have to be a responsible adult and have the guns put away. You should be the only person that should be able to get those guns, do something with them, protect your family at the time that you have to. And remember, guns are only for two reasons. One, for protecting your family, protecting yourself, and the other would be for hunting, for food to put on your table. Now, if you want to do the sport aspect of guns, yes, you can go target shooting. Yes, you can go in there and do competitions. So, like the police departments do and various other gun clubs. But these are all responsible adults. And, it really saddens me that people want to sit there and bombard the NRA and tell them that, you people are ridiculous for what you do. You sit there and say guns are bad or guns are great. Everybody should have that right. Well, we don't think so. Well, you know something? I do think so. I think we should be able to have our Second Amendment right because, hey, guess what? The Patriot Act killed a lot of our rights. But you know something? The government put the boogeyman in our own backyard and he scared the living hell out of everybody to where, okay, well, guess what? We're going to throw some crazy bill out there and we're going to hang everybody's asses. And guess what? They're not even going to know what hit them. So, hey, people, check out the Patriot Act. Tell me about your rights that you're having so good, And if anybody wants to call in, I mean, hey, I'm all for it. Call in 727-493-2055. Make the call. I'd be more than happy to sit there and talk to you about it because, it's just, I want somebody else's view. I want somebody to sit there and tell me that guns kill people because you know something? Hey, we're almost a half hour in. You know something? I'm not shaking for my life. I've got this 44. It's still pointed at me. And, it hasn't sit there and jumped up and shot me yet. So, but hey, let's go back to a couple more of these. So here we go. Let's see. Any politician that supports any gun ban needs to give up his armed escorts and all their security at any event they go to. After all, it's not like they're in more danger than anybody else. You know something? That's a good saying. I agree. If they're all so scared and everything, give them up. So, let's see. Then we got, let's see. All righty. The point is, you take away guns and people can easily find another way to harm others. You can go to any gas station in this country, fill up a few 5-gallon gas cans, and buy 2 propane cylinders, and you have a bomb. So now, do we outlaw gas and grilling? That's the point. The problem is mentally disturbed people getting their hands on the guns. Better screening needs to be done. But you know something? The screening part is all part of being able to have your Second Amendment right to be able to buy guns. And not everybody is going to sit there and screen the way they should be. I know that's a fact. But, there should be a process that you have to go through to where, instead of this, go get your CWP and, take you a shot down the range, go do this, go do that, then, you know, they should have something set up more to the effect of if you're going to get a concealed weapons permit or any weapon that you have in your house, there should be some kind of a law or something that states, hey, guess what? You need to do like a minimum of a 20-hour gun course of the do's and don'ts. If you're going to go into assault weapons, then take a 40-hour gun course to where what your potentials are and what your potentials should not be. Then once you sit there and you pass those and you get those courses taken care of, then yes, go buy your gun. It's still not going to stop it. I mean, there's no doubt about that because you've got a lot of sane criminals out there that know exactly what they're doing. So, and you know something? If you take away guns, then here's a good one. The same day that these kids were being shot, there was a man in China that sit there and went to a school and stabbed, I think it was 20 children. Or not 20, I take that back. I think it was 22, 23, something like that. He stabbed them to death. So what are you going to do? Outlaw knives now? How are you going to cut your steak? So, but now, here's the thing that people really do not know and they don't listen to. Okay? You don't watch what's going on in government. You don't watch what kind of bills are trying to be pushed out there because you know something? We're all guilty of it. We'd rather sit there and watch Two Broke Girls, Two and a Half Men, or some comedy or some reality show. And, because out of sight, out of mind is the American mentality anymore. We have no more accountability. We have no more responsibility. And if somebody does something, it's the other guy's fault. We didn't do it. Oh, sorry about your luck. But now, let me tell you what's already happened. And let's see how you like this because this is an effect. It is a law and it's going to happen. It's going to happen really soon. Give it time because it sure as hell will. So here we go. So let me make sure I have this right. The Congress recently passed and the President, Barack Obama, signed into law the NDAA, which included sections that allow the military, you ready for this? The military to arrest anyone and imprison them indefinitely without trial or warrant. How's that for your constitutional rights? We have the right to a trial, not no more. And the worst part about it is, it's not by law enforcement. It's by your own military. The President, Barack Obama, has recently signed executive orders that permit the government to take any means of transportation or communication it deems needed without payment in an emergency. Well, we always knew that. I mean, hell, how many cop shows have you sit there and watched and see old Bruce Willis go in there and knock you out of the car and say, hey, take in your car, police officer, sorry about your luck. Well, unfortunately, ain't Bruce taking your car, though. But now this is where it even gets better. The government now spies. Oh, my God, the government now spies. How many of you didn't know that? I mean, the government would never spy on us. The government would never do anything like that to us. Yeah, keep thinking that. And gathers information on citizens. That's everyday people. So, hey, all you parents out there that's got your little kids that have cell phones and iPads and all that other good stuff that those kids are playing on. How do you like the idea that Big Brother's out there listening and watching? Now, it gathers information on citizens without reasonable cause, or warrant, and eavesdrops on, check this out, folks, get ready, all electronic communications. And you guys just thought it was Florida that was getting hit with all the eavesdropping. Oh God, here we go. Here's that one word. It's coming up. Under the Patriot Act. There you go. There's that word. I knew it had to be in there someplace. And we couldn't get nowheres in this conversation without having to say the Patriot Act. You know, that one that keeps the boogeyman out your backyard? You know, the one that sits there and it's going to save the world so that way the government doesn't have to pull another 9/11 and scare the people again so it can get more money out of you and basically put us all in the middle of the streets? Patriot Act. Patriot Act. Citizens, yep, there's that word, us again, can be searched, audited, or otherwise probed based on secret. Secret? Are you kidding me? Testimony and warrants. For those of you that really don't get what that means, let me give you a good example of what it means. The government can walk into your house and they can tell you, we have reason to believe through secret testimony that you're conspiring to blow up a turkey in your backyard. And we don't like that. So you know something? We're going to arrest you. And we're going to take you away. And we don't have to give you rhyme or reason. And the beauty of it is, you do not even get a fair trial because you don't even get a trial. That's right. Hey, let's see. Constitutional law. Constitution. I thought we had a right to a trial. Now, isn't it amazing how all these wonderful people that wanted to go in there and say, oh, we need a president that cares. We need a president that can do this for us. We need a president that can do that for us. Well, guess what? As far as economy wise, yeah, Bill Clinton helped us out. Was he riding off of Reagan or riding off of anybody else? Who knows? Because you know something? The public doesn't really ever know. All you keep hearing is, oh, well, you know, this president had to sit there and wait because of this. And that president, you know, he got stuck with all this debt and all these problems. And he's just overwhelmed. So, you know, let me go hire 300 czars and pay them, you know, $160,000 or $250,000 a year to have them advise me of what I should do. Really? You know something? You need to get off your ass, people, and you need to sit there and start raising hell with your congressmen, your senators, your politicians. You need to sit there and tell them, hey, we're here to take our government back. Very soon, I am going to put a source on a website that'll sit there and tell each and every American how to impeach a politician, including the president. It only takes one voice to start it. So now, people, do you get my drift that when the people become bigger than the government, then we have a chance. But when the government overtowers the people, look out. So now on the rest of this, now let's back up a little bit because I like this part. Patriot Act. Citizens can be searched, audited, and otherwise probed. I wonder if they got some aliens hiding out there and they're wanting to probe people. You know, You haven't really heard about no alien abductions or anything like that, where they're sitting there and giving the old probe deal. "Hey, let me probe them. Yeah, yeah, just being silly. So, based on that secret testimony and warrants. And finally, the government kills its citizen, kills without trial or due process, and does it by remote control. And now they want to further restrict another right. Hmm. Unbelievable. It's just, it really, you know, everybody wants to sit there and say, oh, guns, 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 guns. Oh, it's so terrible. I'm sorry that the murders and stuff happen. And it upsets me tremendously. But the thing of it is, guns don't kill people. When are the American public going to realize guns do not kill people? If you restrict the guns to where it makes it harder for people to get guns, then you're going to make it easier for outlaws to be able to get the guns. Wake up, people. Get off your asses and start using some common sense. So for all of those people that sit there and have guns in their house, well, you know something? Hey, let's get some accountability and responsibility to your family, responsibility to your children to sit there and make sure that you, the parents, and I say this, you, the parents, take the responsibility to make sure you have a safe environment for your family. And if the case may come to where something devastating is about to happen, that, you as a parent will be able to sit there and protect your family with deadly force as needed. It only takes a few minutes to come up with a plan like that. It only takes a few minutes to go in there and put your guns in a position to where your kids cannot touch them. I mean, come on, people. Hell, most people can't even watch their own kids anymore because they shove them in a room and tell them, oh, go play Nintendo or go play Xbox or PS3 because we're too busy to be bothered. And then everybody wants to sit there and say, oh, wow, what happens here? What do we do next? I'd never thought my kid would be doing that. I never thought my kid would be into, possibly wanting to hurt another human being. Really? If you go into your kid's room and it looks like, everything's like, Call of Duty, World at War, and everything else, hey, some of these games are great. Are they really too graphic? Maybe. I don't know. But you know something? It doesn't fall on the company. It falls on the parents again. If you're going to sit there and, have them do stuff, do it to where you're around. I mean, it's just that easy. Get the responsibility of being a responsible parent back into your life. And here's another good point. This is the one that I saved for last, with the exception of the Congress that just passed that. But I do like this one the best. Okay, so all right, so now you've got the 5-gallon gas cans and the two propane cylinders, and you got a bomb. So now, while they are at it, they can debate fertilizer. I didn't see anybody out there saying, oh my God, we got to sit there and stop selling fertilizer. Because, hey, people, remember this one? Remember a guy named Timothy McVeigh? You remember the Oklahoma City Federal Building? No guns there. Fertilizer. Fertilizer and supposedly dynamite caps, where the fertilizer was sit there, it was soaked in kerosene and a couple other things. And I mean, people, I remember seeing it. I remember seeing the devastation of what that truck did to that building, the hundreds of people that died that day. Did we go out there and do a rampage on fertilizer? No. We took the accountability and the responsibility and put it on Timothy McVeigh the way it should have been. Do I think that, he should have got a fair shake or something like that? No, I don't. I think he should have been executed. So, and it's just, it really blows my mind on that. But see, now here's the thing. Here's a good quote. No free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves against tyranny in government. Thomas Jefferson wrote that. Tyranny in government. Guess what? We're at the tyranny in government point. And it's just, where do you go? What do you do? What do you say? Do we continue on sitting there and saying, okay, well, it doesn't affect us. So, let's not worry about it. And we'll deal with it in another situation. Nah. We're back to two major words that I keep stressing out is accountability and responsibility. America has become a situation to where we are so pussified that everything has to be, oh, well, we can't step on somebody's toes over here because it may offend them. Or we can't sit there and say, well, oh, we don't want that person to learn English because that's not his native tongue. Or we don't want this person over here because, they don't speak this or they don't do that. It's ridiculous. We have to become responsible Americans again. We have to have accountability in government. We have to sit there and the American people, you keep sitting there and thinking Democrats, Republicans, Democrats, Republicans. I'm so sick of Democrats and Republicans because you know something, when it all boils down to it, hey, all you wonderful people there that sit there and want to say, well, I'm with this party because they done so much good. Oh, it's really funny. If they did so much damn good, why are we $16 trillion in debt? Which that number is actually a lie. It's a lot higher because it would scare the living hell out of you. Our unemployment wouldn't be so high. That's 7.8%, 8%. People, you need to wake up and smell the coffee. Our unemployment rate is right around about 15 or 16%. They fail to tell you that everybody that comes off of the food stamps and Medicare that has to reapply, those people ain't counted again. So when they reapply, they're not accounted. I mean, when does it change? I mean, hey, we got to make this an interesting show because according to everybody, hey, the world ends tomorrow. So unbelievable. I mean, there has to be a point in time to where government has to make a compromise. Oh, that's right. Hey, guess what? Obama sat there and said something, I believe it was yesterday or possibly today. I can't remember which one it was. That, the American people, we've been through all this stress and all this pain and everything like that, that in order for the good of the people, that Americans are going to have to sit there and compromise with government so that way we can move forward with everything. Compromise? Are you kidding me, Mr. Obama? You want us to compromise? I mean, really? How about this? Why don't you compromise the fact that the bailouts? Why don't GM? Why don't all the rest of them, Bank of America, and all those people that were bailed out? Why don't they compromise with us? Why don't they give us cheaper interest rates? Why don't they give us loans? Why don't they go in there and help the economy get back to it? Or why doesn't GM sit there and say, hey, look, for the American people, being that you people sit there and you put money back in our pockets and helped our company stay open, we're going to give an American discount. We're going to give you 0% or 1% interest if you go in there and you buy a Chevrolet today. I've never heard that, and neither will nobody else. We've become a nation of so much greed and corruption in corporate America that we no longer have our own sense of anything anymore. That so-called American dream that we were all told about when we were being brought up and being raised by our parents. Yeah, you got to grow up. You're going to have your house. You're going to have that white picket fence. You're going to go in there and you're going to have a family. You're going to have a mutt, and all this stuff. Where's it at? Not in this lifetime. Ain't happening. It just really blows my mind. If you look at where we were 30 years ago and where we are now, most people would sit there and say they would never have thought that. How many mortgage brokers went out there and took advantage of that so-called big bubble before it burst? Wow, man, I can go out there. I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'll sucker these people into doing an arm loan or anything else that I can do. We got greedy, America. Now we have to pay the price. The price is this. We have to sit there and start telling our government that, hey, you people, you politicians, you lobbyists, you attorneys that are government affiliated, you're the downfall of America. Bush Jr., you're the downfall of America. And as far as I'm concerned, hey, Mr. Obama there, what happened to, I'm going to have these troops out. They're all going to be home. We're going to pull our troops from overseas and we're not going to have these wars. So you know something? I hold him accountable as much as I hold Bush and Cheney. And especially Bush and even Obama, because you have to go through certain paths to be able to declare war. You have to have, if I ain't mistaken, an act of Congress. They bypassed it. We went ahead and declared war anyways. And as far as George Bush Jr., hey, if anybody out there knows him, tell him to call my show. Because I would love to be the man that sits there and tells them, you know something? I find you as despicable as Hitler. Because you started a war for personal gains. We still haven't found those weapons of mass destruction. I mean, you went over there and you murdered Hussein. I mean, granted, he was doing some pretty nasty stuff, but you know something? Who are we to sit there and step into something like that, to go in there and say, oh, that country doesn't have the right to do whatever it's supposed to do? That's their country. I'm sorry. People, we've sit there and dealt with all other countries that we have to sit there and do everything for them, to sit there and help them out. And it's like, oh, we got to make their country better. Well, some of those countries do need help. And the help thing, yeah, I should retract the back part of that and say, yes, we should be able to help them out in a meaningful fashion. But it really blows my mind that I don't see a meaningful fashion for the people in the United States. All you people that ride around every day and stuff like that, look and see. See the poverty in the making. It's there. Something, and I actually seen a really good bumper sticker today. And it says, if Americans don't want to sit there and back their troops, then stand in front of them. Because it's not the troops' fault. They're doing what they're told to do because they honor their flag. They honor their country. They have the respect of trying to make this world a better place for all of us Americans. But you got people like presidents, politicians, and that want to sit there and keep manipulating the system, keep that war machine going, because them corporate guys that want to sit there and say, well, something, we got to make these other military might, we got to have this, we got to have that. How many silent millionaires, billionaires do we really have out there? I'm sure it's a lot. When was the last time you sit there and said, okay, hey, we're going to be building military vehicles, military tanks and stuff like that, within the United States? Are we going to sit there and start building to where we can give people's jobs and we can start putting the nation back on track? I mean, hell, we're shipping our cars overseas, even GM. I've got relatives that work for GM. And, and it saddens me because GM screwed them after the bailout. They basically sit there and said, hey, something, folks? With all the time that you gave to us, your backbreaking work, your sweat, your tears, your blood, and everything else that you sit there and gave to make our company a great company, they cut their salaries, took their pensions, and, that's what they get. But hey, and big old CEOs up there still got their money. But it all boils down to accountability, responsibility, even with the guns. And it's just like, I can't stress enough, guns don't kill people. People kill people. We have to have that responsibility. We're sitting there, we're getting ready to give up our gun rights. It's coming. It's going to be coming. Wait till you see the gun law that's coming out. Or not the gun law, I take that back. What Obama and Hillary Clinton are pushing for assault weapons to be banned by the United Nations. A world ban. But hey, it really makes it funny because there are certain assault weapons that were banned by the United Nations. And the best part about it is we distribute those guns over to the Afghanis. Some ban, huh? It's only banned when it's in threat to them. But to anybody else and they can make money, nah, that ban ain't working. So, well, we're down to our last minute here. So, and I sure hope that people listen to it. And, wow, something? It's been an hour here. And I'll be damned. Look at this. I can wave my hands. I can stand up. I'm talking to you live as day. I've got a loaded 44 Magnum sitting on my table right now. And son of a bitch, an hour later, I'm still alive. Now, theory, all the people out there that's got that theory of guns kill people, your theory sucks, and so do you. So, that's my rant. Hey, this is Jerry, Voice of America, Amendment 1 Radio. If you got something to say, check it out. Email us. Call in. Send us your opinion. That's what made America great. Everybody's opinions. So, other than that, everybody, hey, if the world doesn't end tomorrow, we'll see you next year. Have a great time. Take care. And be responsible and raise hell with your politicians. Out of here. See ya.
No matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause.